Going live at 11:11 a.m. East Coast time. Today's segment, I'd like to bring a segment at least weekly, even if I don't have a guest, on some things that I've learned in recovery. Today's segment is on self-care. And self-care was something that I had to think about early in recovery. And this is, I'm a recovery background, but I like the idea of holistic wellness, and I think that these topics I talk about would be good for anyone in their life, not just someone who's recovering from drugs and alcohol and substance abuse and so forth, but people who are also just trying to have a more healthy lifestyle and just feel comfortable in their skin without having to resort to all the aspects of materialism and so forth that most people are living. Most people are living in the work, sleep, entertainment cycle, wash, rinse, repeat, and don't know what's going on, don't know why they feel unfulfilled in their lives. And I'll tell you what that is probably the reason is you're in a work, sleep, entertainment cycle, and it seems like it's too much work or it seems too hard to get out of that. But there are a lot of baby steps you can take for that. I often hear I work with alcoholics and addicts early in recovery, and I'm going to speak for myself. I was very selfish at the end of my addiction, and I thought of myself and how I could feel better. I thought very little about other people. I didn't think very much about other human beings and so forth. And so when I did get in recovery, that was like a kind of a slap in my face. Oh, now I'm going to do self care as well. Isn't that just more selfishness on my part? And I had to look at it. And I heard this analogy before about a flight attendant. It said the when you get on the plane, which I had done to go to rehab, when you get on the plane, the flight attendant will tell you that if there's trouble and the oxygen mask come down, to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, because even if you have children, you need to take care of yourself in order to be able to take care of them. And I thought that was an apt analogy to describe self care. That if I do want to take care of the people in my life and I do care about the other people and free of substances and so forth, I realized, well, yeah, I do have a lot of people I care about in my life. And I did start realizing the culmination of living a life like that with that selfishness, and now I'm going to take care of myself too. But if I don't take care of myself first, then I'm not much good for other people. I usually am restless, irritable, discontent, cranky, you name it. And if I want to be there and I want to be in good space for the people I care about, there's certain things that I have to take care of for myself. And so I don't see that as selfishness. I see that as self-love in a healthy way to actually look at what I need and what I need to take care of in order to be a functional human being in society. And I got a few topics for today. But just around me today is a self-care day, and I think Luna's going to join us in a moment over here and probably walk in front of me on the screen 'cause she likes to do that. And she is no, don't step on the keyboard. She is she's a part of my self care. It was something I had to figure out. I like being around my cats. And they give me a nice peaceful vibe. And today being all about self care for me today. Excuse me. I have to do this quite often as now I'm pretty driven. I can work 7 days a week for many weeks in a row without really needing a break, as I kind of can do the self care even while I work and in my day to day existence, so I don't get burnt out, because that's important for what I'm doing. I don't want to get burnt out. I don't want to get jaded with the people I work with, and try to bring some recovery to, because I'm not useful to them if I'm angry and so forth. But part of today I have off, and it's self care all around. I have the cats with me. I have a soft blanket on the couch. I have some garbage food here. It's not garbage. It's very good, actually. I got this from Sift Bakery in Mystic when I went on vacation this week, and it is a carrot cake rondelle. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but it is carrot cake kind of in a Swiss roll fashion, and it's brilliant. The baker who designed this is brilliant. They should win the Nobel Prize of baking. I have my coffee here with me. I went to a meeting this morning, and the topic of today's meeting was on patience. I prepared some of my thoughts ahead of time for what I wanted to talk about on this show. I, I meditated before I started the show. I also took out some shrimp so I can have a shrimp cocktail later, and some shaved steak so I can make a nice steak sandwich at some other point. So there was work involved in some of this self care. Uh, if you're prone to anxiety, like I was prone to anxiety, maybe there's some things that need to be, you need to get out of the way before you can actually relax. And this morning I took care of the laundry, and I took care of the dishes, and a couple other things that will make my life easier, as well as my wife's. And therefore, I'm not going to think about those now for the rest of the day. I have some movies planned that I would like to watch. I think it's the holiday season right now, so I'm probably going to watch It's a Wonderful Life. I love that movie. I love Christmas Carol by Dickens. I have a couple of new books to read. I have some entertainment around me. So it actually took a little work. But early on in recovery, I had to figure out, what do I even like? It had been so long in depression, it had been so long in substance use, that I did not like the same things that I liked when I was on substances. For instance, when I was high on cocaine, I would love to clean the house. That was really exciting for me. I'd enjoy it very much, and so I'd really enjoy cleaning the heck out of the house. Not high on cocaine, not even close. I do not like to clean the house. I don't like to do that. That's not very much fun for me. I've realized I have to do that occasionally to be in an environment that is not uncomfortable to me. But I had to start figuring out what I even liked. And this wasn't easy, as I was anhedonic when in my first several months sober. Anhedonia, for those who don't know what anhedonia is, it's a lack of being able to really feel. I was very numb. And a lot of times we'll hear alcoholics and addicts say, well, they used to get numb. Well, in a way, but no, I really more used because it would release endorphins and would make me feel good. I would be euphoric. Being numb and not feeling good about anything or bad about anything is not a very pleasant place to be. Television wasn't interesting. I wasn't reading very much early in recovery, and there was very little that interested me. So I basically would sit in the room, and I kind of like watch the TV that my wife had on, and I wouldn't really do much else. It wasn't interesting to me. But as I started healing, as I started getting a little healthy, I started figuring out, oh, going to a meeting with my sponsor is more interesting than staring at the walls. Maybe he'll buy me a cheeseburger on the way to the meeting. That's interesting. I'll see some different things out of the car window that I'm not seeing, sitting in the living room in the chair and fidgeting because my legs would not hold still for probably the first 6, 7, 8 months I was sober. And my thought process was horrible. I would think how great it would be to get wasted. That was going on in my mind a lot, or how great it would be to be dead. That I wouldn't have to suffer through any more of this existence. So I didn't have a very healthy thought process going on. I did not feel good. I wasn't comfortable, but that uncomfortability actually taught me a lot of things. When I did feel a little bit more comfortable, I'm like, oh, okay, this is better than that. And I started developing some some emergency plans for stress. I didn't even really develop these. They just came about, and the stress that would make me want to drink and use in the beginning didn't have to be great stress. Remember one weekend I came home, and my son and I hadn't been getting along very well, so there's a mess, I think, in the kitchen left or something that bothered me. And then I find out the refrigerator crapped out, and we didn't have very much money. I wasn't working at the time, and that was stress up to here. That was stress. It doesn't seem like much, but that was stress up to over my head, and I was drowning in that stress. And so, I had to tap out. It's like, okay, what am I going to do instead of trying to think of how I can solve this problem today? Because I have no solutions. I was miserable, and what I did that day was I had some Ben and Jerry's strawberry cheesecake ice cream on hand. I went into my room. I took the Ben and Jerry's into my room. I got on my knees because I'd started praying at this point. I said, God, please help me out. I'm not doing anything else today, though. I'm going to go lay in the bed, eat the strawberry cheesecake ice cream. So Creamsicle came in. Oh, what a great cat he was, and joined me and let me pet him. And I turned on one of my favorite television programs to just mindlessly zone out, which is The Office. So for the remainder of that day, I did nothing else. I laid in bed. I watched Michael and Dwight and Jim and Pam and all those guys from The Office, and I didn't really think too much about it. I said, tomorrow's another day. I just need to stay sober for the rest of today, and tomorrow's a new morning, and we'll see what happens. And sure enough, I think prayers were answered, and the next morning I was okay. I was like, well, let's look at some secondhand refrigerators and see if we have enough money to get that, and we did, and we got that to the house, and it was taken care of. So sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, how am I going to get through the rest of today without heading to the liquor store? I did a lot of little things to try to alleviate. I didn't keep cash on me. I didn't keep a bank card on me. I did not have enough money usually on me to get as drunk as I was going to want to get. So that would take a little bit of temptation away, knowing, well, I'm not even going to really get very drunk on this much money. So that would take some of the aspects out of it of wanting to use. I just I do it kind of everywhere now, though. I will have a playlist in my car, and I will play the music I want to hear. Usually, I've rediscovered '80s new wave is much happier than '90s grunge. So I will, if I want to be in a better mood, I will listen to some of the '80s new wave or some other happy music. Sometimes I will have an audiobook that goes on. I will leave for my destination, 5 or 10 minutes early. I'll make sure that I'm mindful enough to leave early so that if there is a traffic jam or I get a detour or I'm rerouted, I'm not going crazy because I'm still going to make it there on time because I've left early enough to get there. Um, I keep some snacks in my car. I keep some. We got them right here. I got some cashews and usually some beef jerky or something like that. That if I start getting extra hungry, which makes me irritable too, I get hangry. Not so much anymore, but I will have some snacks with me. I found out the things I like, and in my house, I surround myself with these things. I've already talked about the cats. I have a nice soft blanket. I have cool geodes in my room that I like to look at. I got all kinds of things that I enjoy. So I've surrounded myself here in my home by a lot of things I enjoy. And then I have a little man purse that I take with me of other enjoyable things if I get bored somewhere or something like that. I usually have a couple of books in there. I usually have, I'm lucky enough, I have an extra iPad. I keep the extra iPad in there if I want to write or if I want to go communicate with people online. I have my phone. I usually have some other things in there that will help me. I keep some sinus pills in there. If my sinuses act up, I can take a sinus pill. I don't have to go, oh crap, I don't have one. It's there. So some mindfulness really is helpful in this whole process. And I started meditating probably pretty early on in my recovery, somewhere around 9 or 10 months. I started out just I would sit on the front steps and I would watch the cats play. I enjoyed the cats anyway. I'd watch the cats play, and I got a lot of things out of that. The cats are very happy with nothing. They got a little kibble, you get an Amazon box or something like that, and they are ecstatic. They're very happy with very little, and just observing that made me realize, oh, it's not so bad. I have a nice, comfy chair to sit in, and I have a bunch of channels of garbage on the television to watch if I so choose. I have some books I can read. I have people I can contact and talk to. So keeping other people in the loop and realizing early in recovery that recovery is about helping other people, and that I'm not a bother by contacting some people. I'm not going to be a bother if I need to vent for 5 or 10 minutes with one of my friends from recovery on the phone. That is actually helpful to them to be helpful to me. So it's all kind of goes around the paradox that is love. And the paradox is the more I give, the more I have. And so the more loving I can be. I accept calls from alcoholics that haven't talked to me in a long time, because I realize they might need a ride to detox. They might have stumbled and be using again. I do some certain things that make me feel more comfortable, to have a nice self-care day, to be able to indulge in some, today I got a whole lot of garbage food to eat. I have this brilliant pastry in front of me. I have queso and chips. I have steak out for a nice Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I have some shrimp out for a shrimp cocktail. I had to take the shrimp out. I had to take the steak out if I'm going to make it. I had to have some things in place. If I don't want to feel like a giant fat sloth, having a day of eating pastry and garbage food, then I probably need to exercise a little bit the rest of the time. So, I have a daily regimen of exercise that I do at the beginning of the day. Um, and then in the beginning of recovery, I took baby steps. Sometimes if I was depressed enough, I would make small deals with myself of doable things. And by that, I mean, if I was depressed and I felt like staying in bed and watching television all day, and laying slug bed and doing nothing, I might make a deal with myself. I'm going to move from the bed to the sofa and watch TV from the sofa. And at least I had accomplished one small thing. That's a very small thing, but it was something accomplished. Then I started being more impeccable with my words. I've read The Four Agreements. I think it's a great book. I think it's a great philosophy. And being impeccable with my word, what does that do? Well, that rebuilds a lot of the trust that I lost in being dishonest over the years of addiction. And therefore, that's something I want to rebuild. I don't want people coming up and smelling my breath every time they see me, wondering if I'm drunk. I would like people to be able to trust what I say. When I say I will be there at 3 o'clock Saturday, then I'm going to do everything in my power, set a calendar, a reminder, and do what I need to do to be there at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Maybe ask a friend to give me a text the day before or something like that. And therefore, there's a lot of little baby steps, and these things helped me greatly to get over depression, because I might wake up blue on a Tuesday morning when I had volunteered to hand out food at the food pantry, but I would make myself get in the shower. I would make myself, or if I couldn't get in the shower, I wouldn't. I put some deodorant on so I wasn't too stinky, and put some clothes on and make myself go down there because I said I would do it. And lo and behold, what would usually happen after I would do the thing that I didn't want to do was I would at the very least feel a little bit less depressed. I had done what I said I was going to do that day. I know, even if I didn't feel any less depressed, I know that if I blew off the thing I said I was going to do, I would feel more depressed, and that would feed the depression. And so, at the very least, doing what I said I was going to do, having some healthy routines, eating a little bit better, exercising, making commitments to do what I can to be there. All these little baby steps became a practice that made life a little bit easier. It made it a little bit better, and it made it a little bit more tolerable. So the rest of today, I'm going to ask another author to be on the show within the next week or so, and hopefully I will continue to bring these little broadcast of things that have helped me in recovery. And my goal is to hopefully give you something that will help you a little bit too, because we have a saying around, I've seen in memes a lot of time: hurt people hurt people. Conversely, healed people heal people. This is what I need to do to stay sober. And I look forward to all your comments in the comments section for ideas for new shows and other shows, and other aspects of holistic wellness that I've covered, or maybe I should look into. Maybe there's some more stuff that I can check out and look into, and I'm always up for that. My mind is quite open now. I have an astrologer on retainer. That's a pretty open mind. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to enjoy my carrot cake roundelay, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And self care is not selfish; it's necessary. So you guys have a good one. Thank you.